Ciao everyone and welcome back to a new episode of Learn Italian with Songs. Namely, today we are going to talk about La tana del granchio by Bresh. As usual, friendly disclaimer, this is part of the group of the songs of the entries for Sanremo 2025 because in this period we are going through all the entries of this year. That said, as usual, let's start from the translation of the title. I decided to translate it as The Crab's Den. Now, I've seen also translations as The Crab's Lair. Now, in my opinion, there's not a true right answer, okay, for the translation, because la tana in Italian is the place an animal makes the home, okay? So it can be the home of a crab, but it can also be the home of an animal from the wood, okay? Usually it is meant to be like a hole in the ground, a cave, not, for example, a nest, okay? The nest is the home of the bird, usually. But we have a specific term, which is nido. La tana is in the ground, okay? Or in the rock. Like, it is something in an earthly environment, let's put it like that. Now, lair, usually it is more associated with something dangerous. So, the lion's lair, okay? Or the tiger's lair. Usually with this nuance, in Italian it is translated with antro. It's not always dangerous, like also in English, like it's not always dangerous, but it can have this nuance. La tana has, at least according to my perception, a more positive house, homeish nuance. And in fact, I try to translate it like this because of what Bresh said about the meaning of the song. As usual, I looked for statements by the artist and I managed to find this one. It is in Italian, I'm going to translate it in English. It is a song that is certainly a hymn to freedom, which is perhaps the only thing we can aspire to, we can desire. That we miss most of all. So, like, the most important thing for us is freedom. But, like, you might ask, but then, like, what about the den or the layer? If it were an image, the crab's den would be, so la tana del granchio, would be representing by nothing but a crab. In another statement, however, he said, la tana del granchio, so like this little house for the crab, represents the intimate place that everyone interprets in their own way. We all have one. So, since when he says la tana del granchio, he means metaphorically a place, an intimate place, like a safe place for us. It can be our house, a specific room in our house, generally a place where we feel safe. So use then to try to explain these nuance, to give back to you these nuance. I checked both the definition of then and layer, but the issue is that I didn't really find the nuance in one of those two. I discussed a bit with my two loyal assistants, Alex and Ness, and we agreed that probably then conveyed better the concept of tana. Okay, but like, just this whole thing was just to put it in perspective. So we have intimacy, we have freedom. These are the two main concepts of the song. And in fact, that said, let's dive into the lyrics, shall we? We start with the first verse. Nella tana del granchio c'è una canzone. In the crab's den, there's a song. And that's why I'm saying it is a safe place, okay? Because there is a song. What is a song? Something usually intimate, an expression of our souls, the music of our souls, if you will. And so something positive. That's why I was saying usually layer doesn't have these the issues that not even then has this positive nuance. Both then and layer have also like a little bit of negative. Tana can have a negative nuance, but per se it is just the home of a wild animal living in the ground, basically. Ho posato i miei vestiti al sole. I laid my clothes in the sun. Ti ho vista piangere dietro alle mie parole. I saw you cry behind my words. Ma non sapevo cos'altro dire di te. But I didn't know what else to say about you. Ora che siamo soli, mi puoi pure parlare. Now that we are alone, you can even talk to me, like in this case pure it is an informal way to say don't worry, like it is to stress the fact in this case that she can talk. Guardati intorno, non c'è nessuno. Look around you, because guardati, there's no one. Non far così, non mi giudicare. Don't do this, don't judge me. Where far is used instead of fare, to do. Ho una parola sbagliata per ogni frase. I have a wrong word for every sentence. Sono soltanto un uomo e non ci so fare. I am just a man and I'm not good at it. E anche se tu non lo vuoi sapere, and even if you don't want to know, sappi però che alla fine ti voglio bene. Know, however, that in the end I love you. Now, as I promised, our fair share of breakups and nostalgia and broken hearts as usual. Two little things, non ci so fare, or generally non saperci fare, is an Italian expression meaning that you or someone else is not good at something. Literally, we should translate it as I don't know to do in that. Okay? As in, I don't know how to behave, how to do things in that situation, in that sector, in that circumstances. So like, that is not my thing. I'm not good at it. Yeah, guys. So today we had a lower amount of nostalgia and breakups. So like, I don't know, it can be better, it can be worse. It depends on what people like. And then the other quick note is about ti voglio bene. I love you. Why? I have to drink because I'm still dehydrated. I'm not feeling very good. I think I got the flu or something. So I get dehydrated fast, so I need to drink a lot. Anyway, in fact, you can maybe feel that I have my nose a bit stuffed. I hope you'll be able to understand nonetheless. Anyway, as I was saying, ti voglio bene. What is peculiar about this expression? Ti voglio bene, in Italian, it is not the same as ti amo. Yeah, it is this time of the year. Also, like, we are in that time of the year where I don't know if I'm sick or if I'm allergic or both. This time, I'm quite sure I'm sick because I also have nausea, a bit of fever. This morning I was shaking, so the whole package. So I can guess I am sick. But I also have some fair share of allergy. So nice moment of the year. Anyway, as I was saying, ti voglio bene is not the same as ti amo. Ti amo is the proper I love you. Now, I love you, ti amo, all these sentences in several languages are very culturally related. In Italian, I can say ti amo as I love you seriously, like I would say to Alex, my partner. But for example, I could also tell it to my sister, like if I'm very close to someone, so they know that I'm not serious, like I'm not declaring myself to them, like I'm not confessing my feelings. I tell them, oddio ti amo, ti adoro, like, oh my god, I love you, I adore you, because like they did something or said something that I really appreciate, so it's like, oh my god, you are the best. While we have ti voglio bene on the other side. Now, ti voglio bene is I love you, but milder. So, for example, I can say ti voglio bene to my friends. I can say ti voglio bene to my parents, to my sister, my brother, and so on and so on. It is a way to express your affection for someone. And the way you express this affection is a little bit milder than ti amo. In fact, ti voglio bene literally means I want good, well, to you. As in, io voglio il tuo bene. I want the good for you. I want the best for you. So, it is a way to express affection for someone because it is a good wish. So, it is like saying, I love you, so I wish you the best. Okay? We don't think all of these things, like I'm just explaining the etymology right now. In Italian we say like normally ti voglio bene. Nowadays it is something I'm hearing more from children. Okay, so it is something that I don't really hear from adult people. I don't know if it has been always like that. but it is true that things changes. I really think I'm not hearing these that much. Again, it is mainly from children. Fun fact, when I was a child slash teenager, back in my days, it was very popular to write, at least among girls, everywhere, the acronym TVB. TVB is Ti voglio bene. It is a little bit like in English, ILU instead of I love you. But when I was a child, it was completely out of hand. Why? Also because there was the other version that was TVTB. Ti voglio tanto bene. And what was happening often, it was like friend writing on the notebook, because we do this a lot about stealing each other diaries, notebooks, whatever, to write and draw on our friends' things. And so, like, you are taking notes during the lesson, your classmate, because usually in Italy you have groups of 2, 3s and whatnot desks. So you have your desk companion writing TVTB. And so to plus one it, you write on their notebook TVTTB. And so they have to plus one you, and so they write TVTTB. And I swear to God, I have pages of my notebooks or diaries from middle school where we had things like TVTTTTTTTTTTB, like things long like that, pages of TVTB with the T repeated ad infinitum, because it was a fun thing. Now, I don't know if the newer generations do that, to be honest. I am a proud millennial. I don't know if the Gen Z, yeah, exactly, Gasol, but more, even more, like pages of T's. So I don't know if they do it anymore, the youngsters. I don't know. Maybe now it is all about sending reels and TikToks. I don't know. But like back in my days when social media is like because when I was in middle school, the best we had was Facebook. And it wasn't even that used. For example, I was banished from social media by my parents. I was able to only use Windows Messenger. Other millennials might know what I'm talking about when I mention Messenger. I don't know, in different parts of the world it was different. But it is a little bit one of those millennial things like MySpace. Yeah, for real, these youngers, I don't even know if no, actually in Italy you need to write because we don't have technology in schools, basically. So you need to write always. For example, Alex lost like him. I still write, okay, with my hands, because I am a graphomaniac. I love to write things. It untense my nerves. And for example, Alex almost lost his ability to write. He uses things only to sign, and in fact the way he signs, it is very hard to fake, because goddamn he can't write. But on my side, however, I know how to write, and I quite like it. But yeah, that said, it was like a little excursus concerning Ti voglio bene. And then we have the chorus. Sono una madre che si sgola. I am a mother who screams her head off. Una testa che gira ancora. a head that still spins, una chitarra che non suona, a guitar that doesn't play. Remember, in Italian we say suonare, to sound, not to play. Una borsa piena di buchi, a bag full of holes, se capisci che non ti amo, if you understand that I don't love you. Sei una sirena che non nuota, you are a mermaid who doesn't swim. Cosa puoi dire? What can you say? Fammi solo sapere quando vuoi guarire. Just let me know when you want to heal. Dall'espressione hai qualcosa da dire per me. From your expression, you have something to say for me. Here there is an inversion because normally in Italian you would say per me dall'espressione hai qualcosa da dire. So like for me, from your expression you have something to say. But here we have an inversion. Me lo sento, non mi dai 2 lire. But I feel it, you don't give me 2 cents. Now, as usual, quick notes. Sgolarsi. Sgolarsi, it is a verb, quite curious one in Italian, that means to scream like no tomorrow. However, etymologically speaking, we have the S plus golarsi, so sgolarsi. This is built on the noun gola. What is la gola? It is the throat. So, this part here. So, why do we say sgolarsi? To say, to scream your head off. So, like, to scream at the top of your lungs. Because it implies, it pictures the idea that you are screaming so much that you are going to ruin your throat. Or like to exert your throat. And it usually means not only that you are screaming like loudly, but also that you are doing it repeatedly. In fact, why does he say sono una madre che si sgola? I am a mother who screams her head off. Because it is a classic image of the mother from, for example, the balcony screaming at their kids like, don't do this, don't do that, like, it's time to come home, it is time to come home for dinner, and things like that. Very motherish things. I think I have to say this, like, it is normal in Italy, like, for us Italian to scream around, but not because we are, like, we want to be rude or anything or bother other people, but because apparently we have a very high tone of voice. So, yeah, like, it is quite funny because every time we go around, we noticed that from our perspective, people are basically whispering. And in fact, like, it is quite funny when I see tips from travel guides and whatnot, like, guys, in Italy, in public places, be quiet because in Italy, people don't like loud noises. Like, bigger bullshit was never told. Because I understand, for example, concerning museums, churches, libraries, like places, educational places where you are supposed to be quiet. But if you are like in a square, in piazza, or on the road and whatnot, who cares? Siamo casinisti. Like, to be honest, exactly. Signora, I limoni. Like, the classic thing is the market, okay? The open market that many cities have at least once per week. And there is, like, screamings and whatnot. And in fact, like, there is one idiom In Italian, when someone screams, my father usually is very quiet, and he doesn't like when me and my siblings raise our voices. Not because we are arguing or anything, but because usually we have very loud tones of voice. And my father often told us, ma che sei al mercato? Which means, where are you at the market? Because at the market there is a lot of noise and people screaming. And in fact, like, it is a thing that I notice other Italians have. If we are in another country and we hear like people screaming and things like that, we don't care. Like, our noise radar is so high that if we hear people screaming on the other side of the street, we just don't mind because we are used to people screaming. And in fact, like, it often happens in France that often it happened that in France, where I live now, there are people quarreling, like discussing in the street, screaming at each other, and people like are like looking at me like, "Why you are not bothered?" And I was like, "I don't even register that people are screaming. Like, that's a normal tone of voice for me." And in fact, I also noticed that since I've been living in France, my tone of voice started to lower. Like, I started to become quieter for the happiness of my father, because it is true. In France, they are chiller and more quiet usually. Here in Normandy, it depends. Not at the pub there is noise and not no problem, but usually people are more quiet. And then una testa che gira ancora, a head that still spins. It could refer to the fact that in Italian, when we say far girare la testa, it can have the meaning of like I'm about to faint because my head spin, mi gira la testa. However, it can also mean, in certain context, that when someone makes your head spin, it means that you are crushing on them, ok? That you like them. Questa ragazza mi fa girare la testa. Literally, this girl makes my head spin. Is because like she's so hot, like my head spin, like it's overwhelming. Here, as I said, there is an inversion with dall'espressione qualcosa da dire per me, which usually it is at the beginning. And then, ma lo sento, non mi dai 2 lire, but I feel you don't give me 2 cents. I didn't have a direct translation of lire. So, what is lire? The lire are the old currency of Italy. Italy, before joining the Eurozone, so the union of all those countries who decided to share the same currency, the euro. Before that, of course, each country had a different currency. Italy had lire, 1 lira, 2 lire, 3 lire, and so on. So, now, what does it mean, non mi dai 2 lire, you don't give me 2 cents? It believes you do not believe in me. You are not considering me as worthy. Why? Because something worth 2 lire, here I translated with 2 cents because it was the closest currency I was able to compare in English. It is something not worthy, basically. Well, I don't know. I have some lire in Italy because they were used as a currency until I'm thinking, 2001, when Italy joined the community of countries with the same shared currency as in euro. And the thing is that, to put it in perspective, 1 euro, it used to be worth 1,000 lire. Okay? So, if you think that 1,000 lire is 1 euro, just 2 lire are literally nothing. Okay? In fact, I guess the cheapest coin we had, it was 100 lire or something like that. Damn, guys. I don't know how we managed to get it, but like I'm happy for you. But yeah, like as I was saying, it means you don't believe in me, you don't think I'm worthy of your trust, of your love, whatever. Because it is a metaphor for something very cheap, not not worth anything. Because something that is worth 2 lire it is even less than 2 cents. Okay. Then we have the second verse. Un sacchetto di plastica, a plastic bag, tiene i nostri 2 costumi bagnati, holds our 2 wet swimsuits. Ce li siamo dimenticati, we forgot them, nella macchina che è rimasta sotto al sole per tutta l'estate. In the car that was left under the sun all summer. Ad ottobre li ho ritrovati. In October I found them. Lascio la via per te. I leave the way for you. Ora che non è più un sì, now that is no longer a yes, camera mia non è una metropoli. My room is not a metropolis. Che incubo stare ad aspettare in un monolocale. What a nightmare to wait in a studio apartment. Sei fuori a carnevale. You're out at carnival. I had to do a very literal translation because meaning-wise, I'll be honest, I basically have no clue what all these metaphors are hinting at, like whatever this means. We have un sacchetto di plastica, a plastic bag. In Italian we have sacco and sacchetto. Sacco is the big one, like you can find in the big trash cans. Sacchetto is the little bag, and in fact it is etto, etta, etti, ette is a suffix in Italian that we use to say that something is small and nice. So, sacchetto, sacco, sacchetto. So we have this plastic bag holding the 2 wet swimsuits of the protagonist. This plastic bag was forgotten for the whole of summer in the car, and the artist, the singer, found them back in October. Is this a metaphor to say that some people put aside all the problems they have during summer just to enjoy the summer? Is it because they broke up in the summer and since she left, she never asked back the swimsuit, so he just forgot it and found it back in October when he came back from the summer, as in October, as in intended the end of the summer. I have no clue. You decide how to interpret this. Lascio la via per te ora che non è più un sì. I leave the way for you now that it's no longer a yes. Probably because they were supposed to marry and now she doesn't want to marry him anymore. So he changes his way, he changes, metaphorically speaking, his road. I don't know. Camera mia non è una metropoli, che incubo stare ad aspettare in un monolocale, sei fuori a carnevale. My room is not a metropolis, which is big. What a nightmare is to wait in a studio apartment, because un monolocale, it is literally an apartment made by only one room. Locale, in Italian, can mean local, so typical of a location, but it can also mean one of the rooms of a house. It has several meanings. This is one of them. Mono is the prefix coming from ancient Greek that means only one. Okay, so mono locale, an apartment with only one room. Why? Because usually when you count the rooms in an apartment, you don't count the bathroom. So usually un monolocale, a studio apartment, is a place where you have one big room where usually you have the place where you cook, and then you have like the rest of the room where you are supposed to put your bed, your desk and whatnot, and then you have the bathroom, and that's it. This is a monolocale. Of course, this is like opposed to the metropoli, which is a big city. With sei fuori a carnevale, you are out at carnival, I have no clue. This, like, you are out, like, sei fuori, can literally mean, like, you are outside. So, like, you are hanging out with other people at carnival. So it can mean that we passed the summer together, we broke up, and in carnival, which is usually in February, you are already with other people. So I don't know. It can mean that not even 6 months have passed and you already got over the relationship. Otherwise, I really have no clue what it can mean. And then we have again the chorus. Sono una madre che si sgola. I'm a mother who screams her head off. Una testa che gira ancora. A head that still spins. Una chitarra che non suona. A guitar that doesn't play. Una borsa piena di buchi. A bag full of holes. So, long story short, I am a bit broken, or like I do things that are useless. I do things, but there's no effect. Because, for example, the mother that screams her head off, but nobody is listening to her. The head that still spins, so you can't think straight. Or like, I'm still in love with you. A guitar that doesn't play, basically it is not doing the main thing that a guitar is supposed to do. A bag full of holes won't hold the things in, and so it is broken by definition. Se capisci che non ti amo, if you understand that I don't love you, sei una sirena che non nuota. You are a mermaid who doesn't swim. Even this part, I'm not sure. It could be, if you can't understand that I love you, you are like a mermaid who doesn't swim, like you can't even understand what it is the most simple thing. Because technically, if like swimming for a mermaid should be something natural, and you can't even do that. Like, so you can't do something as natural as accepting the love of someone else. Cosa puoi dire? What can you say? Fammi solo sapere quando vuoi guarire. Just let me know when you want to heal. So probably entailing that the relationship wasn't the most healthy. Dall'espressione hai qualcosa da dire per me, for your expression you have something to say, for me, in my opinion, ma lo sento, non mi dai 2 lire. But I feel it, you don't give me 2 cents, you don't trust me, you don't believe in me. Then we have a bridge. Se il mare si è salato, if the sea has become salty, è perché un marinaio ci ha pianto sopra. It's because a sailor cried over it. Se han fatto il calendario, if they made the calendar, where an it is used instead of anno, è perché ti vorrei fare santa ora. It's because I would like to make you a saint now. Senti che forte è il vento, feel how strong the wind is, vento che non si posa, wind that doesn't rest. Posare, it is literally to put down, okay, to lay something. So, of course, if the wind doesn't go down, it means that it keeps blowing. Quick notes. Salty in English can describe a person who is, how can I explain, annoying, complaining, okay? In Italian this doesn't transfer. Salato, it is used for things that are salty, as in containing salt. Like, for example, the sea, the tears, because the sailor cried over the sea. The tears are salty, so that's why the sea is salty. However, I mean, like, a food can be salty. It can usually doesn't have always a positive, usually it's not a positive adjective. It is either neutral, so like something is salty, as in something has salt in it, like the sea. But it can also mean that something it is too salty. Like, for example, questa carne è salata, like this meat is salty, it implies that that it is too salty, okay? Then, as far as concerns the calendar, what's the meaning of this? If they made the calendar, it's because I would like to make you saint now. Because at least in Italy, as far as I know, also in other cultures, where you have saints, like for Orthodox Church and whatnot, you have the saints on the calendar. And that's why you celebrate the onomastics. For example, in Italy, the onomastics are, explanation. What is an onomastic? It is the day where the saint with your same name is celebrated. For example, my name is Silvia. Santa Silvia, Saint Silvia in Italy is celebrated the 3rd of November, so the 3rd of November is my onomastic. and my family wishes me happy onomastic because it is Saint Silvia. Now, it is not as common in Italy, this thing, okay? There are, it is not even related to faith or religion. As I explained in other situation, I am not Catholic, I'm not Christian, I am agnostic. My family is not religious, but nonetheless, we celebrate onomastics. There are other people who are religious, but they don't celebrate the onomastics. The saints, however, are very important in Italy because each town has a patron, okay? Patrons in Italy can be saints, I don't know how to say this in English, beati, okay? When you die for the Catholic Church, you have, and maybe also the Orthodox, I don't know, you have rankings, okay, according to how good you did. The lowest rank is beato or beata, masculine and feminine. And if you did very great things for the Catholic Church at a certain point, after a certain amount of years, you can digi-evolve from beato to santo. Okay, perfect, yeah. So I guess we are going to check that later. What happens is that when a person dies, the Vatican City, like the people in the Vatican City, the Catholic Church eminent figures can say, okay, this person did very good. Did this person accumulated enough Catholic credits to be named beato or beata? They discuss and they vote. If the outcome is positive, you become beato or beata. Then, was this person so good for the Catholic Church that deserves to become a saint? Santo, masculine, santa, feminine? Depends. It can be yes. If it is yes, however, you have to wait a certain amount of time. Like, basically, the Digivolution needs some years to happen, okay? So I don't know if you can be declared directly saint. There is a whole like bureaucracy part of this. I didn't do canonic law in the university. I should ask Nessa, however, since she studied canonic law. So you have this path. Now, there are certain eminent figures for the Catholic Church who didn't go past the beato or beata level. Nonetheless, even by being beato or beata, you can be a patron of a city in Italy, okay? For example, I'll bring the example of my city. I usually say that I come from Torino, but right now I don't remember what's the patron saint of Torino. I think Sant'Antonio. I'm not sure. But I know the one of my city, because usually I say I come from Torino. Actually, I come from a smaller city near Torino, but no one knows it, so it's easier to say Torino. Anyway, I come from a little city in Italy that is called Moncalieri. Moncalieri has a patron who's not a saint, but a beato. The name of this beato was Bernardo. So the patron of my city, it is called Beato Bernardo, and we have statues, we have the church dedicating to him and whatnot. Why is this relevant? Because when on the calendar is the onomastic of your patron, okay? In Italy, it is a festivity for your city. So everything is closed and you can be home to celebrate the festivity. In the case of my city, it is not that happy because it is in July, so many people are already on vacation. But there are cities where like it is in other parts of the year, so it is a celebration. So the kids don't go to school, you don't have to go to work and whatnot. In the case of my city, it is the 14th of July, I guess. I know that it is in July. I'm not sure about the maybe the 15th of July. Yeah, should be the 15th of July. Anyway, and why it is a festivity? Because usually you have fairs of live action RP, basically concerning the story of your patron. For example, my city not only has a fair during the night of the patron, but usually they also have a whole celebration where they do a procession starting from the place where the mayor stays until the church, okay? Because my city, it is built on a hill, so they start from the top of the hill where we have the castle, and they go down until the church we have down, because we have several churches, yes, also on the top of the hill, but we have to go downhill, because that's the church of the Beato. And so we do this whole procession from top to bottom, and there are several stations on this path, and each station represents a significant part of the story of the patron. Like it is not that you have to take or choose if you're religious. No, like it is a celebration of the city. Okay, it's like celebrating the city and the protector of the city. So you don't have to work because things are closed. It is kind of like you don't really decide. If you work in the city, you don't work that day because everything is closed. Because it is, yeah, like technically if you really want, you can work and keep everything open. But for example, the schools are closed. Doesn't matter your religion. I am happily agnostic, never been religious, but I always did the festivities. For example, think about Easter or Christmas. These are religious festivities, but in Italy we celebrate them and we stay at home. It's the same principle with the patron. But also you can see the whole fair, which is interesting because many patrons really existed. And basically this fair and this procession tell the story of the patron. It is a little bit like in some countries you have the founder of the city, okay? No, 90% of the cities in Italy are founded by Romans, so there would, you know the problem. So instead of having the day of the founder of the city, we have the day of the protector, the patron of the city. And it is a moment in which the citizens can tell the story of their patron. So it is more like a historical reevocation, okay? Because like in my case, the patron of my city really existed, and the story that is told about his life, it is basically how he arrived in Moncalieri and died there. That's why he's our patron, because he died there because of illness. And in fact, my city has a twin, and now I don't remember how it's called, like gemellaggio. But basically, I guess all the cities in Italy have twin cities, okay? Which are cities in the rest of the world considering themselves like twins between themselves because they have some sort of connection. My city, Moncalieri, has a twin city in Germany. This city is Baden-Baden, and we have this twin city because our patron came from this German city and died in our city. Nice tales. And there are many stories of because, like in the case of my patron, he was a knight. Maybe he was a crusader. I don't know. I am very ignorant. I take the responsibility of my ignorance. But yeah, this is an example of why there is this twin city. Like, if you tell me a city from Europe, but actually from the whole world, probably I'm going to find a town in Italy that is their twin city. Because I know that, for example, we have twin cities that are like cities that have their twins in Japan, for example. So I'm sure that even your city has a twin city in Italy. Like, I'm almost sure. Like, it's math. Anyway, and that's why Bresh says if they made the calendar is because I would like to make you saint now. Because each day of the calendar has at least one saint related to them, ok? Senti che forte il vento, vento che non si posa. Feel how strong the wind is, wind that doesn't rest. This is probably a reference to Liguria because Bresh comes from Liguria. The majority of the cities in Liguria are on the sea and thus wind. And then the song ends with an outro, which is a variation of the chorus. Cosa mi puoi dire? What can you say? Fammi solo sapere quando vuoi guarire. Just let me know when you want to heal. Dall'espressione hai qualcosa da dire per me. From your expression you have something to say for me. Ma lo sento, non mi dai 2 lire. But I feel it, you don't give me 2 cents. Which is usually the ending section of the chorus. And then we have the variation. Ho bisogno solo di riuscire a convincere te. I just need to be able to convince you. Non solo te, not just you, because probably he needs to convince himself as well. Ho bisogno solo di riuscire a convincere te. I just need to be able to convince you. So the repetition of the previous sentence. Ma lo sento, non mi dai 2 lire. But I feel it, you don't give me 2 cents. So it is a little bit the weird situation where, like, can you really convince someone who doesn't want to be convinced? To be honest, I don't know. That said, that was everything concerning the lyrics. So it is the time of the stream where we talk about gossip. So now, what's the gossip concerning La Tana del Granchio by Bresh? Okay, one first note is that even before the start of the festival, he received prizes concerning the quality of the lyrics because it was very poetic. It had a good balance. The lyrics had a good balance between colloquial expressions and more elevated expressions. Original because the metaphors, the imagery, even the words used in the title and the lyrics were pretty fresh. Let's put it like that. For example, in the whole history of the Festival de Sanremo, granchio, the word granchio, crab, was an apex, meaning that granchio, la tana del granchio is the first title since the creation of the Sanremo Music Festival, using in it the word granchio, okay? Which is like a bit nerdy, but a curiosity, okay? Strictly gossip-wise, there isn't much to say. It is true that he never had specific issues during his performances. He had all the issues of this world during cover night. As I explained several times, during Sanremo Festival, there is the night before the last, dedicated to covers, where artists need to pick a song different from the one they are bringing in the festival, and sing it with another artist. So, for example, you can pick the song of an artist and ask the original author to sing it with you, or you can ask another artist. In the case of Bresh, he picked a song by Fabrizio De André, one of the most famous songwriter in Italy. And since Fabrizio De André passed some years ago, he asked a duet with the son, Cristiano De André. The song was Creusa de Ma, which is a song completely in Zenese. What is Zenese? Zenese is the dialect, according to some people, the language of Liguria. Of course, there are several variations of that, but if you think that it was hard to understand me while I was reading lyrics in Napolitan, in Zenese would be even worse, because I don't even know how to read Zenese, to be honest. I asked Ines. Ines is partially from Liguria, and she told me I have no clue what they are saying. The song I can't understand, for how difficult the dialect is. And in that occasion, they had several issues, because not only they sang last, so it was like 1 a.m., but also they had to restart the song 3 times, because every time they were singing, something was happening, like the transmitter falling, microphones not working, and in fact a lot of memes were generated concerning that. But that cover was very much appreciated. Yeah, indeed. You can listen to this song, because the song, you can find it on YouTube, the original. The cover, I think, is available only on Spotify, I guess. You can find the clip from Sanremo, but at least on Rai you cannot find all of it. But probably you can find some recordings. 3 times is a charm indeed. That said, if you are curious to to find out how the dialect from Liguria sounds, you can listen to Creusa de Ma because it's full in Zenese. Now, more gossip. We can finish the gossip with a note about the girlfriend, if you will, because I find gossip even if I don't want to while I'm reading articles about the songs, because some people didn't see much Bresh with his girlfriend. His girlfriend is a model, I guess. And many started wondering if, because you notice that it was a little bit of nostalgia, heartbroken type of song, this song here. Despite that, at least musically, is one of my favorite songs. But lyrics-wise, the hinting at nostalgia, breakup, difficult relationship was quite clear and evident. Now, due to this, and for the fact that journalists didn't really see them together, many started to wonder if the couple was in crisis. However, he explained that they are happily together. And simply now she is her manager, or at least she's part of the team of managing the artist. And due to this, of course, she was very, how can I say, very busy handling his social media, because Bresh admitted that he is totally unable to use social media. So we have that as well. He had a quite normal and standard Sanremo. He ranked 11th, so everything considered, I wanted him in top 10, but of course I can't have what I want. And despite everything, 11, considering that he's not as renowned as other artists who participated in the festival, 11th, kudos, he did better than I expected, to be honest. So everything considered, quite well. That said, I rambled a lot during this stream. I hope you appreciated my rambling personally. That said, don't forget to let me know in the comments what you think about La Tana del Granchio by Bresh. I hope you enjoyed this stream. Grazie everyone for watching, and arrivederci.